Today we're going to talk about something that has plagued this world that we're living in today. In this world of superficiality, we live with this on a small scale all the way to the grandest of the grand scale. This has been around since the world has been in existence. Today we're going to talk about betrayal. Betrayal is something that we all have dealt with, that we all will deal with. It's never a pretty thing. It's always hurtful and harmful. It's never something that you can. It's never something that you can prepare yourself for. Betrayal happens when you put your trust in something, or when you perceive, a person or a thing to be one way, and it turns out to be a completely opposite. Betrayal is something that happens when someone, whether it's maliciously or, if they intend to do it or if it's unintentional, but if they lie on you, if they spread rumors about you, if they choose another person over you. Betrayal happens from jobs. It happens from a relationship standpoint. It happens from a friendship standpoint. It happens in families. It happens in schools. It happens in church. It happens in large organizations, small organizations. Pretty much any person, any human being on this planet has been betrayed in some way, shape, form, or fashion. That's just how common that it is. That's why I say that it plagues this earth, because it is so common that we often overlook it. So the thing that I want you to understand about betrayal is that betrayal is a test of your will. The Lord grants us free will. That means that we have the right and we have the option to choose what we want to do, whether that's to stay within His will, or whether that's to go astray and step outside of His will. But He presents us with that option. He presents us with that choice. At which point we can operate within our own free will and we can choose. Well, that's what is presented at the moment of betrayal. At the moment before betrayal happens, that person, that system, that thing has an option to choose. They have free will. So this is a test of their will. They can choose the proper thing to do, or they can choose the improper thing to do. They can choose the righteous thing to do, or the unrighteous thing to do. They can choose the right thing to do, or they can choose the wrong thing to do. They can choose the good thing to do, or they can choose the bad thing to do. One example that comes to mind would be maybe if you have the option to eat healthy. Okay, you choosing a piece of chocolate, which that's my favorite. So if you choose a piece of chocolate versus a vegetable, of course the piece of chocolate is going to seem more, that's going to call out to your taste buds much better than a vegetable will for the average person. Now the only way that it will not is if you have an acquired taste for the vegetable, if you have an acquired taste for the good thing. Usually when you have an acquired taste, that means that you have experienced that good thing enough to know that no matter if I am presented with this other option that looks to be a good thing, even if I'm presented with it, I have experienced this good thing, which is the vegetable. I have experienced this vegetable enough to know that this is the choice that I should make. You may not choose the vegetable initially because you have to develop that acquired taste. Usually when someone chooses the bad choice, it's usually their ego, it's usually their pride. That's usually what will make you choose the bad choice over the good choice, knowing that the vegetable is going to always be a better choice over that piece of chocolate. But your pride, your ego, your flesh will take over and make you feel as though you need to choose the bad option. So this is a test of your will. You have the right to choose. Like I said, this happens on a small scale all the way up to a large scale. So this may happen in the smallest of situations, such as choosing food options, all the way to a grander scale, such as choosing partners, partners in life, partners in business, partners as a friend. You know, this happens all the way across the board. So if there's a situation that you can think of, there's a situation where betrayal can happen. Betrayal can happen in any and every situation. So just know that betrayal is a test of your will. You are being tested when you are presented with an option. So just keep that in mind when we are going through our day-to-day lives. There's always a choice. There's always an option. Even the Lord dealt with betrayal. So betrayal has been around and it will be around. Is going nowhere. And to be honest with you, betrayal is needed. That may sound crazy, but betrayal is needed. Because what the Lord is doing when He presents people or systems or things with an option to choose, what He is doing is weeding out the wheat. He's weeding out the things that are not meant for you. Because He knows that you may not have chose to get rid of them out of your life. You may not have chose to step out of that other person or that other system's life. You may not have chose to distance yourself from whatever it is. So He will present the other person because He knows their heart. He sees the bigger picture, so He knows what's best for you. So He's weeding out the weak for you. So although betrayal may not feel good when it happens to us, but just know that He is weeding out the weak. So if a spouse or a lover was lured away by a piece of chocolate, and by chocolate we're using chocolate as a metaphor. So if they were able to be lured away by anything, You let them get lured, because the Lord was using that thing, that piece of chocolate that we're using as a metaphor, or whatever thing that it is. He used that to weed out the wheat. So if they were able to make a decision and to choose a bad choice over you, or to choose any other choice over you, then that's exactly what needed to happen. So let's be able to recognize betrayal as exactly what it is. It's a test of your will. So let's be mindful of this as we're moving through everyday life, so that we can make proper decisions, so that we can make wise decisions, so that we are going into things looking at it as a test. You know, you can come up with a system to help you choose better. You know, make a list, pros versus the cons. You know, will this thing be long standing for me? You know, will this thing be short standing for me? Will this thing be better for me in the long run? Is it better for me right now, but maybe not so much in the long run? You can make a list out to see which choice will be the better choice for you. And actually, I would like to know if you all would write in the comments, write down some tools that you have used to help you overcome betrayal. Write down some things, some choices, some hard choices that you have had to make when you were presented with, you know, two options that, you know, one may have seemed to be good, the other, you know, it was a clear, you know, decision. Sometimes we may be presented with two options where it's a clear answer, yes here and no here. And sometimes it's a situation where we're presented with two hard options, where they're both good options, but good for different reasons. Either way, it's all still a test of your will. Are you willing to stay within the will of God? Are you willing to step outside and go astray? Are you willing to choose what's good for your heart, what's good for your spirit, what's good for your soul, versus what's good for your pride, what's good for your ego, and what's good for your flesh? So let us know in the comments, what are some things that you have had to choose between? What were some options that you were presented with? What were ways or some tools that you use to help you choose? Because we all want to make wise decisions. We all have to make a choice every single day on something. So let's be mindful so that we can make wise decisions, and so that we know exactly what we're dealing with. So until next time, choose wisely.